Hello class, welcome to Focus on People in Watercolor and Ink. I'm your instructor, Todd Carignan. Um, so, for those of you that may have not done any watercolor before and you might be confused a little bit about the supplies, I'm going to kind of go through the supplies really quick, see if I can't give you a little bit of more of a comprehensive feel to it. Plus, when I made up the class list of supplies, that was many months ago, and just like all good artists, I tend to switch and try new things and figure out better ways of doing things. So let me just kind of get into this real quick. Okay, first of all, you're going to need some kind of palette. This one folds up. Pretty easy to transport. It's got enough wells for the different colors and several different mixing areas. I got 6 of them here, 3 large ones and 2 medium and a small. So the colors that I've got in here are sepia. This is burnt umber. This is burnt sienna. This is gouache, which is a permanent white. I have permanent rose. This is cadmium scarlet, cadmium red. Then I've got cadmium yellow deep. I've got cadmium lemon. I've got yellow ochre. I have cobalt blue. I've got hooker's green, phthalo blue, no, phthalo turquoise, sorry, French ultramarine, and this is Payne's gray. If you have all these colors, that's great. If you've been doing watercolor for a while, you probably have a big collection of different colors. I will say that the ones that I'm probably going to use the most, probably use the burnt sienna, maybe mix it with some French ultramarine or cobalt blue. Probably the easiest thing is just to say that you need your primary colors. So I'd pick a red, cadmium red or scarlet, a yellow, so lemon yellow is probably good, and then cobalt blue or French ultramarine blue, and I tend to use more Payne's gray now. I've just kind of rediscovered it over the last few months, so I'll probably be using that. But anyway, it doesn't really matter too much which ones you have, as long as you have the primaries, like a red, a yellow, and a blue, will make it work. I also use the hooker's green a lot. Instead of having a real black, I'll use hooker's green and permanent rose and ultramarine blue, and I'll mix those 3 in here to make something that's a chromatic black. But whatever you have, we'll just make do, okay? Let's look at some of these brushes. This is Creative Mark, which is Jerry's Artorama. That's their brand. So this is a 1.5 inch flat brush. Let's see, I think this is a Creative Mark as well. Yeah, this is a Kolinsky. Which it doesn't say sable, but yeah, it's still a hairbrush, not synthetic. Then I've got a pure squirrel hair brush. Then I have what's this, Lowell Cornell. So this is a synthetic brush, just for detail. The natural hair brushes for a squirrel, they're going to hold a good amount of water, and they release the water at an even rate. So they're good brushes for large areas, washes. This would be the biggest or the largest area. This is more detailed, smaller areas, and this is very detailed. And then this just happens to be a brush that I've used on traveling trips. When I went to India, let's see if I can get that in focus. So that's a silver 3/4 inch ruby satin angular brush. It's a synthetic brush, but it's pretty good for being on the go. So I'll probably be doing a little bit with this too, just to show you the different types of brushes. Let's see. So then you will need a mason jar. You might want to grab 2 of them. I usually use 2 just in case one of them gets the water gets too dirty. Then I don't have to switch it out really quick. Okay. This is the Arches paper that I'd like you to have. So this is a block, which means that it has glue around the edges, except for one little area. So when you are painting on it, what you'll find is the paper is going to buckle, but when it dries, it should dry pretty flat. This stuff is good stuff. See, this is 9 by 12, and it is 140-pound paper, so it's not going to buckle too bad. Okay. So we'll use this for finished pieces, stuff that you want to keep. If you want to have some kind of paper that just for practicing on, some of the stuff that we're going to do is going to be just kind of muscle memory and just exercises. This stuff is Fabriano Studio Watercolor, and this is cold press 90-pound paper. This is garbage paper, pretty much. I still use it because it's watercolor paper. It's got texture, but it does not. You can't work it in the same way that you can Arches. It's just not as good a quality paper. If you have any sketchbooks or anything too, this is a moleskin that I've picked up, which is kind of a plate finish, meaning that it's really smooth. You can do watercolors on it, and it takes ink really well. But I'll kind of be talking about the difference between surfaces and what's good and what's bad about each one of them. Okay, I also have a little water sprayer. This is good for keeping your paints nice and wet. If you don't have one, that's fine. We'll just make do. I'll talk about that kind of stuff too. As far as the ink goes, let's talk about waterproof India ink. I think I have Winsor Newton on my list, which is what I've used in the past. I went ahead and I picked up some New York Central, but just make sure that it is waterproof. The India ink is a good way to go. This is a big container of it, so what I've got here is just a small little jar. I'm not even sure what was in this. Dickinson's? I don't know. But so that I can squirt that into here and then be able to dip it, and it's a lot easier than if this gets down too far, having to deal with that. But anyway, if you don't want to use a dip pen, here we've got this is the dip pen right here. There's all kinds of different sets, different brands. I'm not really loyal to any brand. But that's what I would use for my dip pen. And I don't even know if it has a name or anything on it somewhere. I've got a Lowell Cornell brush here. So this is a number 4. So sometimes I'll use the pen for ink. Sometimes I will use the brush. And so I'll talk about that as well. If you feel more comfortable just using pens to draw with, here's the pencil. This is just a number 2 pencil. Doesn't matter. Office Depot, number 2, HB, whatever. But pens, Sharpie. These are all good pens. They do not activate with water. So once you draw, they will stay in place and you can work them. And then here is the Micron Pigma pens. We've got a 03, and this is a number 2, but they come in all different sizes. I'll probably have several of them. I'll use anywhere from an 01 to an 08, and then a number 1 and a number 2. So whatever you feel comfortable with. If you've got something that you've already got, go ahead and bring it in. All right. Of course, you need paper towels, whatever brand you want, no big deal. And then last is bring in some money, $20 for the model. My plan as of right now is to do 2 days of working from photographs. One will be working on full figures, clothed and in environments, and then the other one will be heads and portraits. And then day 3, I'll bring in a model and have them do both, some dynamic poses so that we can do some quick and some not so quick figure studies, and then do some head studies as well. Okay, so hopefully this has answered any of your questions. I know that there's a lot to take in, but whatever you have, we'll just make do. Okay, all right, thanks. See you soon.